tall man approaching your door is not a random arrival. He carries a decision that can redirect your entire life. I am Asterion, emissary of the Pleiadian Council of the Seven Sisters. The source says this meeting has already been placed along your path, and the timing is closer than you realize. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to align with your cosmic blueprint. But here's the first revelation. What he brings is not merely an object or an offer. It is confirmation that a delayed chapter is finally opening. You didn't find this message by mistake. This is a point of reconnection, and your soul has been preparing for the signal, like this transmission to signal to your star family, I'm ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating, and comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. Stay present. The message is already moving toward you. You're not here by accident. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the Seven Sisters Activation Pack, 7 Codes of the 7 Stars. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Pleiadian harmonic codes for conscious expansion, multi-dimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in somewhere down below in the comments, but only for a limited time, and as you remain here, let the image settle into your field, without forcing it into a single interpretation. The tall man may arrive through a physical encounter, a message, an opportunity, a document, a decision, or a moment that changes the direction of your life. The form is not the entire transmission. The deeper meaning is what his arrival awakens inside you. Allow the image to breathe within you like a symbol reflected on still water. You do not have to seize it, explain it, or immediately decide what it means. Let your intuition approach it gently. Sometimes the soul understands an image long before the personality can translate it into language. Because when the source places a figure at the threshold of your awareness, it is often showing you that something has reached the edge of manifestation. A pattern that lived in the invisible is preparing to become visible. An answer that was forming beneath the surface is approaching the doorway of your experience, and the reason you have felt the pressure building, the strange anticipation, the heightened sensitivity, or the sense that something is about to shift, is that your energy field has already detected movement before your physical mind could name it. There are moments when the unseen becomes so close that the body begins to respond before circumstances change. You may wake at unusual hours, notice a heightened awareness of sound, or feel as if the atmosphere around you has become charged. You may encounter the same phrase in different places, hear a name repeatedly, or find that a forgotten desire returns with surprising strength. These moments can feel mysterious, but they may simply be the soul recognizing that the current beneath your life has changed direction. Like a bird sensing the pressure of an approaching storm, your system can perceive movement in the atmosphere before the clouds gather above the horizon. Most starseeds remain disconnected from these signals because they have been trained to distrust the subtle language of their own awareness. They wait for proof before they allow themselves to feel. They demand a schedule before they trust a synchronization. They dismiss the inner knowing because it does not arrive with a map, a contract, or an explanation that the ordinary mind can control. You may have been taught that only what can be measured deserves your attention. You may have learned to call your sensitivity overthinking, your discernment pessimism, and your intuitive perception imagination. Yet Scripture reminds us that we walk by faith, not by sight. And this does not mean abandoning wisdom or reality. It means understanding that the visible world is not the whole of existence. There are roots beneath every tree, currents beneath every river, and intentions beneath every action. Your awareness is learning to sense the roots and currents beneath the obvious surface. But your higher intelligence does not always communicate through complete sentences. It communicates through repetition, sensation, timing, symbols, dreams, sudden recognition, and the unmistakable feeling that one moment carries more weight than it appears to. The image of the tall man is not being shown to you so that you can become fearful or obsessed with watching the door. It is being shown because you are being asked to recognize a threshold. A threshold is not only the place where something enters. It is also the place where you decide whether you are willing to cross. In ancient stories, revelation often arrived at a doorway, beside a well, in the wilderness, or under a night sky filled with stars. Moses encountered the burning bush when he was not searching for a cosmic assignment. Samuel heard his name in the silence of the night. The disciples recognized a new path when they were asked to leave familiar shores. The message does not always come when the mind feels prepared. It comes when the inner ground has become receptive enough to hold it. You have been standing between versions of yourself. One version learned to survive by expecting disappointment. One version became smaller to remain accepted. One version kept postponing its own expansion because it believed that safety required invisibility, but another version has been gathering beneath those old layers, and that version is no longer willing to remain asleep. You may feel this inner conflict as fatigue, restlessness, grief, or a longing you cannot place. Part of you wants the familiar room, even if the room has become too small, because at least you know where everything is. Another part of you is standing near the window, feeling air from a larger world. The old self says, wait until you are certain. The emerging self says, you will become certain by walking with integrity. This is not a battle you must win through force. It is a transition that asks you to listen to the deeper voice without shaming the part of you that is afraid. This is where the distortion begins to reveal itself. You may think you are waiting for someone to bring you the change, but the deeper movement is that you are becoming capable of receiving what could not reach you before. Your field has been recalibrating. Your standards have been changing. Your tolerance for false promises, draining environments, and relationships that require you to abandon your own signal has been weakening. What once felt like rejection may have been redirection. What once felt like emptiness may have been the clearing of noise. You are beginning to notice the difference between being wanted and being honored, between being needed and being valued, between being familiar to someone and being genuinely understood. The new frequency does not ask you to perform for entry. It does not make you beg for a place at the table. It creates space for you to sit as your whole self. That is why some connections may have fallen away without a clean explanation. That is why certain places no longer feel like home. That is why what once entertained you now leaves you empty. Your energy is not becoming difficult, it is becoming precise. Precision can feel lonely at first because you are no longer willing to fill every silence with people, distractions, or obligations. But the silence is not punishment. It is a tuning chamber. A musical instrument must be quiet enough to be tuned, and your soul has been adjusting the strings of your life. The things leaving your field may be making room for a cleaner resonance. Trust that not every departure needs a dramatic explanation. Some things simply complete their purpose and dissolve like mist beneath the morning sun. The first activation is recognizing that the signal is not being withheld from you. It has been moving through you all along. The tall figure at the door represents an external reflection of an internal arrival. He carries the frequency of an event, but the event can only transform your life if you are willing to meet it as the person you are becoming, not as the person who has been asking the past to make sense. You have already received signs in smaller forms, the sudden courage to say no, the moment you stopped explaining your worth, the day you realized that your peace was more valuable than being understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you. These are not minor events, they are evidence that the gate within you is opening. A physical arrival may simply mirror the inner work that has already taken place. Notice where fear rises when you imagine the change. Is it fear that nothing will happen? Or is it fear that something will happen and you will no longer be able to return to the identity you have outgrown? Many starseeds are not afraid of transformation itself. They are afraid of the responsibility that comes with being seen after years of hiding their gifts, their sensitivity, their intelligence, and their true desires. Ask yourself what visibility means to you. Does it mean danger because someone in the past criticized what they could not understand? Does it mean pressure because you believe that once people see your gift, you must always perform it perfectly? Does it mean losing the protection of being underestimated? The light within you was not given so that you could keep it hidden beneath fear. As the Gospel says, no one lights a lamp and places it under a basket. This does not mean exposing every part of yourself to everyone. It means allowing the right parts of you to illuminate the path before you. The second activation is the awakening of memory through resonance. You do not need to force a vision of another world or chase a dramatic sign to prove that you carry a galactic origin. Sometimes remembrance arrives as a quiet refusal to keep betraying yourself. Sometimes it appears as a deep attraction to certain stars, tones, geometric forms, languages, or landscapes. Sometimes it is the feeling that you have known a person before, not because you have a perfect story about them, but because their presence touches a frequency your body recognizes. Remembrance may also appear as a longing for harmony in a world that has become accustomed to noise. You may feel drawn to healing, music, sacred geometry, compassionate technology, the protection of nature, or the restoration of communities. You may look at the night sky and feel not merely curiosity, but a tender ache, as if some distant light is calling a forgotten part of your name. Do not turn this longing into a demand for instant answers. Let it become a compass. A true memory does not inflate the ego. It deepens humility, service, responsibility, and love. The body often remembers before the mind does. A tightening in the chest may reveal misalignment. A sudden calm may signal truth. A wave of warmth may accompany recognition. A persistent heaviness may be showing you where an old agreement is still draining your life force. These sensations are not commands, and they do not replace discernment. They are invitations to become more honest about what your system already knows. When you notice a sensation, pause before assigning a story to it. Place your feet on the floor, breathe slowly. Ask whether the feeling is growing from present truth or old fear. The body can carry wisdom, but it can also carry memories of danger that no longer belong to the present moment. Spiritual maturity is not obeying every sensation blindly. It is learning to listen with compassion, gather evidence, and allow clarity to emerge. The still, small voice does not need to shout to be real. The third activation is the clearing of the doorway. A threshold cannot be crossed while you are still defending every object in the old room. This does not mean you must reject your history. It means you must stop treating old pain as a permanent identity. You can honor what happened without allowing it to dictate what is possible now. Some of the old objects in that room are invisible. They are promises you made when you were hurt. They are rules such as, I will never need anyone again. I must stay useful to be loved. Or, if I remain quiet, I cannot be attacked. These rules may once have protected you, but protection can become imprisonment when it is never re-evaluated. The door is not asking you to throw away your wisdom. It is asking you to carry the wisdom and release the fear that was attached to it. There may be beliefs in your field that say, help always comes with a price, that unexpected people should never be trusted, that opportunity is meant for someone more prepared, or that your life must remain difficult because struggle is the only evidence that you are worthy. These beliefs are not your galactic codes. They are interference patterns gathered from environments that could not understand your sensitivity. You are allowed to receive without owing your soul. You are allowed to be supported without surrendering your authority. You are allowed to experience ease without assuming that punishment is about to follow. The desert season taught you endurance, but you were not created to live forever without water. When the manna arrives, do not call it suspicious simply because you have become familiar with hunger. Release the idea that you must predict the entire path before taking the next step. The incoming change may not look like the fantasy you created. It may be simpler, stranger, more practical, or more demanding. The tall man may bring information that requires courage rather than comfort. He may bring a choice that asks you to close one door before another can open. He may bring a mirror that reveals how much power you have been giving away. Often the mind wants a complete staircase, but the soul offers only the next stone. You do not need to know how every detail will unfold. You need to know whether the next step is honest, grounded, and aligned with your values. A seed does not receive a blueprint of the entire tree. It receives the conditions in which growth is possible. Your role is to prepare the soil, tend the roots, and respond when the light reaches you. The fourth activation is learning to distinguish an arrival from an interruption. Not everything intense is aligned. Not everyone who appears at a significant moment is meant to remain in your life. A powerful encounter can be a catalyst without becoming a permanent relationship. A message can redirect you without becoming your entire identity. A person can carry information without carrying the authority to decide your future. Some interruptions arrive dressed as destiny because they activate old hunger. They make you feel chosen, but also anxious. They create excitement, but remove your ability to think clearly. They ask you to move quickly, keep secrets, ignore inconsistencies, or prove your loyalty through self-abandonment. These are not signs that you must surrender. They are opportunities to practice discernment. This is where your discernment becomes sacred technology. Do not surrender your inner authority simply because an event feels mysterious. Let the message breathe. Watch what expands in you and what contracts. Notice whether the encounter invites clarity, dignity, and honest action, or whether it demands panic, secrecy, dependency, or the abandonment of your boundaries. The Pleiadian frequency is not one of blind submission. It is a harmonic intelligence that restores coherence. What is aligned may challenge you, but it will not require you to disappear. What is meant to support your expansion may stretch you, but it will not need to manipulate your fear. You are allowed to remain open and discerning at the same time. Remember that even the most beautiful light must be received through a healthy vessel. Openness without boundaries becomes vulnerability to confusion. Boundaries without openness become a fortress that blocks blessing. The balanced path is a living gate, able to welcome what is nourishing and close itself to what is corrosive. Your no can be sacred. Your pause can be sacred. Your request for more information can be sacred. The fifth activation is the restoration of your receiving field. Many people say they want change, but their energy is still organized around defense. They ask for abundance while rehearsing scarcity. They ask for love while expecting betrayal. They ask for their mission while believing that visibility will destroy their peace. The universe cannot force an opening where every inner gate is guarded by an old wound. Receiving does not mean waiting passively. It means allowing reality to meet the version of you that has prepared to participate. Clean the space around you. Complete what you have been avoiding. Answer the message. Update the document. Make the appointment. Have the conversation. Rest when your body asks for rest. Practical movement gives spiritual intention a channel through which it can become real. A prayer whispered into the darkness can be powerful. That there comes a moment when the prayer must become an action. If you ask for a new path, be willing to place your hand on the handle. If you ask for clarity, be willing to accept the answer, even when it closes a door. If you ask for your mission, be willing to begin with what is in front of you, rather than waiting for perfect conditions. The sacred often enters through ordinary tasks. If the figure arrives in a literal form, meet the moment with presence. If the change comes through a call, listen without immediately projecting the ending. If it comes through a closed door, ask what energy is being redirected. If nothing appears in the way you expected, do not assume that the transmission failed. Sometimes the tall man is not a person approaching your home. Sometimes he is the larger self within you, standing at the door of a life you have not yet entered. The sixth activation is timeline selection through choice. You have been waiting for a sign, but the sign may be waiting for a decision. Every time you choose truth over performance, alignment over approval, and self-respect over familiar suffering, you move into a different probability. The shift may be invisible at first, yet the energetic coordinates change immediately. A timeline is not only a distant future waiting to be discovered, it is shaped through the repeated choices of the present. The way you speak to yourself today, the company you keep, the work you continue, and the boundaries you honor all become threads in the fabric of what comes next. You may not feel the new path forming, just as a river does not announce every change beneath its surface, but direction is being established through each sincere choice. You do not select a new timeline by pretending that pain does not exist. You select it by refusing to let pain become the author of every future chapter. You select it by giving your attention to what you are building instead of endlessly studying what wounded you. You select it by understanding that your sensitivity is not a flaw in your navigation system. It is part of the instrument you came here to refine. The past may explain your patterns, but it does not possess ownership of your destiny. You can remember without returning. You can grieve without becoming grief. You can acknowledge betrayal without deciding that all love is dangerous. Each time you choose a response more conscious than the one your wound demands, you reclaim another portion of your creative power. The seventh activation is embodiment. Your mission is not activated by collecting more signs while postponing your life. It is activated when the frequency becomes behavior. Speak with greater honesty. Protect your energy without cruelty. Create something that carries your signature. Let your work, your choices, and your relationships reflect the inner shift that has already begun. Your mission may begin quietly. It may look like one person helped, one truth spoken, one harmful pattern interrupted, or one beautiful creation brought into the world. Do not underestimate small acts performed with coherent intention. A single candle does not illuminate an entire galaxy, but it changes the darkness immediately around it. Your embodiment creates a field that gives others permission to remember themselves. The visitor at the threshold is therefore connected to a larger question. What will you do when the opportunity no longer allows you to remain undecided? Will you recognize the opening? Or will you ask for another year of preparation? Will you step forward as someone who trusts their discernment? Or will you hand the moment back to the universe because it arrived in an unfamiliar shape? Preparation is not meant to become a permanent hiding place. There is always another book to read, another wound to heal, another certification to complete, another sign to request. But eventually, wisdom must become movement. You do not have to be flawless to be ready. You have to be willing to remain teachable, accountable, and present. There is a difference between intuition and fantasy. Intuition becomes clearer with time, grounding, and evidence. Fantasy demands immediate certainty and often feeds urgency. Your awakening does not ask you to abandon common sense. It asks you to let common sense and higher perception work together. Check the facts. Protect your home. Move at a pace that honors your nervous system, and still remain available to the possibility that life is communicating with you through forms your old identity would have overlooked. The spiritual path is not a rejection of the physical world. It is a way of bringing greater consciousness into the physical world. If a message is real, it can withstand a thoughtful question. If an opportunity is aligned, it can survive your boundaries. If a person is trustworthy, they will not punish you for moving carefully. The light does not fear examination. Truth becomes stronger when it is grounded. The ultimate revelation is that the change coming toward you was never meant to rescue you from your own life. It is arriving to reveal that you are ready to participate in it differently. You are not being chosen because you are helpless. You are being confronted with your capacity because you have spent too long measuring yourself by the limitations of the past. You are not a passive character waiting for a mysterious force to write the next page. You are a conscious participant, a bridge between the invisible and the tangible. The source may open a way, but your feet must still walk. Grace may place an invitation before you, but your hands must still accept or decline it. This is why the incoming presence carries both wonder and responsibility. The tall man carries a symbol of vertical expansion. He stands for the part of you that has grown beyond the horizontal repetition of old cycles. He represents a message that has risen above the confusion, a perspective that can see farther than the immediate emotion, and a presence that asks you to stand upright inside your own life. To stand vertically is to bring heaven and earth into relationship. It is to hold spiritual vision while caring for your body, your finances, your home, your commitments, and your emotional health. It is to look toward the stars without abandoning the ground beneath you. The tallest form of consciousness is not escape, it is integration. What he brings may change your circumstances, but the deeper transformation is that you will no longer interpret change from the same level of consciousness. You will not ask only, "What am I getting?" You will ask, "What is this asking me to become?" You will not measure the encounter only by comfort. You will recognize the value of clarity, redirection, and release. You will understand that an ending can be a delivery. You will understand that a delay can be protection. You will understand that a stranger can carry a familiar frequency, while someone familiar can belong to a timeline you have already completed. This is how you begin to read life without reducing it to simple reward or punishment. A difficult moment can contain an initiation. A quiet season can contain preparation. A rejection can preserve the path for which you have been praying. Not every disappointment is sacred, and you do not have to romanticize suffering. But even within difficulty, meaning can be reclaimed. The question is not whether every event was meant to happen, The question is what consciousness you will bring to what has happened. Your life has not been standing still. Beneath the visible layer, your energy has been reorganizing around a deeper truth. The loneliness taught you to hear yourself. The confusion taught you to question borrowed definitions. The pauses taught you that not every silence is rejection. Some silences are chambers where your next identity is assembled. Like a constellation, your experiences may have seemed scattered, but a pattern is beginning to appear. The losses, the sudden insights, the strange delays, and the recurring invitations were not isolated points. They were stars waiting for your awareness to connect them. Now you can see that the journey was not merely taking you away from what no longer fit, it was teaching you how to recognize what does. And now the door is becoming a meeting point between what you've known and what you're prepared to receive. Do not rush toward it in desperation. Do not hide from it in fear. Stand in the center of yourself. Let your breathing slow. Let your awareness widen. Ask for clarity, not spectacle. Ask for alignment, not merely arrival. Ask to recognize what serves your highest development and to release what only imitates destiny. Before sleep, place one hand over your heart and one over your lower abdomen. Say slowly, I am present for the change that is aligned with my highest path. I receive clarity without fear. I recognize the message, protect my boundaries, and choose the timeline that honors who I am becoming. Then let the words settle. You do not need to force the door open. You only need to become quiet enough to know which doorway is truly yours. Allow your breath to become a bridge between the stars above and the earth below. With each exhale, release the need to control the exact appearance of the answer. With each inhale, welcome the capacity to recognize it. You may visualize a soft golden light gathering around the doorway within you, not as a demand for something to enter, but as a clear signal that you are available to truth. If this message found you at a sensitive moment, take that seriously. Not as a command to predict the future, but as an invitation to become more awake in the present. Watch the next few days for patterns that bring clarity rather than confusion. Notice the conversations that return you to yourself. Notice the opportunities that require courage but preserve your dignity. Notice what leaves your field, and resist the urge to call every release a loss. Let your attention become an instrument of blessing. The more consciously you observe, the more clearly you may recognize the difference between noise and guidance. Keep a record of dreams, repeated symbols, and meaningful encounters, but do not turn the record into a prison of expectation. Let it be a mirror. What matters most is not the number of signs you gather, but the quality of the person you become while receiving them. You are not waiting for someone else to deliver your life. You are meeting the version of yourself who can finally receive it, and when that meeting occurs, whether through a person, a message, an opportunity, or a sudden inner decision, you will understand why the timing had to be exact. Some doors could not open before, because you were still asking them to lead you backward. Now the same kind of opportunity may arrive, and you will respond from a different center. You will know when to welcome, when to pause, when to walk away, and when to move forward with quiet courage. The transmission was never only about who might appear at the threshold. It was about the consciousness that would be standing there to meet them. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.